am Erica Palmisano, and I'm a partner at First Page Marketing. We're a digital marketing agency. We're headquartered in downtown Savannah. But we also have a brand, salon.marketing, and that's the website, because one of my business partners owns a salon, and we were able to, we had the back end information, you know, the money that that salon was making, and so we were able to be a better digital partner, so we were able to target that market a little bit better, so we built out this brand to target that brand as well. We have clients across the United States. I think we're in 48 states now. We're in 3 Canadian provinces, so we help out small businesses who have an address and are, you know, providing a service, whether they are going to that client or whether the client's coming to them. That would be our perfect clients, like small businesses making between $500,000 to $2 million a year. But even small businesses below that as well, because we offer services to them.
I'm gonna get your card before I go. So, my name is Amy Shippy, and I am a lifelong entrepreneur. I have 3 boys. My youngest one is graduating from high school next week, next week. And I own 3 companies here in Savannah that I started off from the ground up. So anything business related, anything entrepreneurship related, anything that along your path that gets in the way and makes you doubt the crazy idea of becoming an entrepreneur in the beginning or along the way is what I love. So I guess we're doing a Q&A.
Yeah.
Yes, so anybody have any questions for us, please?
It has to be past that.
Unprepared.
It's amazing.
I am unprepared.
Here, I'll ask a question.
Sure.
So,
Thank you.
whenever, what advice would you have for someone who's just starting out their business as far as like social media marketing goes? Like, what's the first thing that they should do?
So what we always tell our clients is, you know, find your target market. Wherever they are, that's where you should be. Utilize AI the best that you can in menial tasks to like help make your process more efficient. Batch as much as you can. Take time out on a Sunday or whatever your day is off and spend that time batching out. And I would say for the quarter, look at marketing strategies you can do that month, the next month, that quarter, if you're always thinking a little bit ahead. Social media is meant to be in the moment too, so like filming stuff is really important for the algorithm. But if you're sitting down and you're scheduling yourself out, even if you're just getting ideas together, you're going to set yourself up for more success. But also realizing you can't be everywhere at all times. So pick what you're good at. Like if you're good and you like Instagram, then be there. If you're on TikTok and that's what you like, then be there. But don't try to be everywhere all at once. There's a time, there's like a bell curve when you can spend all of your time doing something and you're still not getting that return on investment. So just make sure that what you're doing is having an impact to the community you're trying to serve. Because even if it's a small community, if it's impactful, then it's better than serving a bunch of crap across, you know, the web that's not important.
Would you like recommend more community outreach or trying to be an influencer?
So I think, you know, Facebook groups are great. So if you can develop, you know, that kind of community, if you can develop a local group on Facebook that you could target somehow, becoming an influencer, you know, that's a lot. If that's what you want to do and that's what you're good at, then yes, invest in it. It's important, but I wouldn't say that that's going to be everyone's path, obviously. I think if it works for you, then that is the path that you should take. If you already have a large following, or if you have a community that you know that you can target, or you have friends that have a large following that you can kind of capture onto. I know in Savannah there was a local influencer kind of group that they were really working together to try and grow that idea. But I think it's more about, you know, where's your target market. I think the newest algorithm shift with Meta was that it's away from that large following. So they're gonna show your content to new people with small followings. It's gonna be more about like what people are looking at. You guys are in the beauty world, which is like very viral. And so people who are interested in beauty videos are now gonna be served videos from people who are more in line with them, but maybe don't have a huge following. So you have this opportunity now to be in front of more people if that's your vibe, you know. There are other ways to get clients to, you know, you don't have to be serving that content continuously.
Any questions? What AI would you recommend?
We use ChatGPT 4. It's if you're going to use ChatGPT, don't use the free version. If you're going to use Google, you can use the Google free version. What is it, Genesis? There's a couple, but ChatGPT 4 is so valuable. ChatGPT 3, the free version, is crap. So you really shouldn't trust what it says, or it takes a lot more review to make sure what it's saying is okay.
And I want to say, y'all always text me about digital shipping, and that is not me. I text Danielle. I can't figure out the payment option on the website, anything with your website, because some of you purchase websites through Beettan. That's Danielle. Y'all message me, I might not see it for hours, and she's the girl to go to. And she's faster on email than she is text, Lord help me. So email her. Just wanted to say that while it was popping.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to have Amy here for is when I had her on the podcast, this is, we can learn about Google and business all day. There's a mindset that comes with business, and I want us all to say a little prayer tonight before bed if we're sober enough. For Taryn, she didn't come, she paid to come, and she's struggling with the mindset part of the business. I did too. I did not have confidence in myself. I had a spray tan solution, and it was beet based, and I still was going to go, and I didn't tell anyone that there's no label on it. I was scared to death because I didn't have confidence in myself for years. It held me back for years. So that's why Amy is a really good business coach. I had her on the podcast, and in 30 minutes I got so much. So if you want any boost in that, I mean, she's built several businesses, and she's wins.
So can I ask another question?
Lady Biz Wiz.
So I'll ask you a question. So how many of you, is this the first business entrepreneur leap you have ever taken? How many of you wish you had never taken the entrepreneurial leap ever because it scares the heck out of you when you wake up in the morning? No one. A little bit scared? Yeah, I mean, I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years and I still wake up scared, confused.
I wake up scared, but I still want to do it.
You trust the
Yeah.
brand.
I still want to do it.
Yeah.
But it scares you a bit because entrepreneurship's a tad lonely. Now y'all are lucky because y'all have actually a team with Michelle that y'all have a community kind of already instantly packed in. When I started my first business, I had my boyfriend. He became my husband. He's still my husband, but fired him one time. That was awkward. And he's still my husband. And you have partners,
Yep.
so it makes it a little less lonely.
Oh, yeah.
But a little bit of something else.
Right.
Having-
Married to people.
Like a husband, but not a husband. Yeah, I get it. But being an entrepreneur is scary, and sometimes you don't even know what questions to ask until it's like 50 yards behind you in the mirror, and you've already stumbled around it. Am I right? I mean, that's kind of what it is. I mean, it's scary. You have no choice. You even made this investment, so you have to kind of keep going, right? I mean, no one's telling you to pack it up and stop. But along the way, you have obstacles. You have questions. You have marketing questions, and every person who's ever opened a business has marketing questions. And you can correct me if I'm wrong, but the marketing question changes every 6 months on how to approach the marketing question. As soon as you think you figured it out,
It changes.
Congress wants to, make TikTok
In the digital
illegal.
world.
Right.
Meta wants to change what they're doing. I mean, it just changes. It changes faster, and you didn't even learn the first part before it changes. So, as a small business owner, what do? I mean, you get around people who know what to do.
Yeah.
I mean, you find people who help you along the path. You create a team, which is what Michelle's done so brilliantly with y'all. And then you ask a bunch of questions. But at the end of the day, when it gets really, really tough, and for me, I talk about this on I don't ever talk about this, but I talk about it on your
This
podcast,
is my favorite thing you said.
that I cry alone in my car. And I drive around for sometimes like 2 hours, crying because I'm so overwhelmed with what my plate holds. Because I'm a mom, and I'm a wife, and I'm a friend, and I'm a business person, and all these roles, that they never end. They don't ever go to sleep. And so sometimes it's just so overwhelming for me. And I'm not somebody who cries in public. If I cry, my husband will get me like a new refrigerator or something because he gets really freaked out. What do you want, honey? Stop crying. Freaks people out when I cry. Because everybody just really thinks that I have it together all the time. And how many of you have to spend time pretending like you have it together? Especially if you want to be an influence, for God's sake, you're going to have to really pretend like you got it together all the time. But like me, I'm sure, unless you don't, because you just get weak, you just get frustrated and tired. And so for me, I drive. I drive like as long as I want to cry, I drive. I drive to Tybee, I drive to South Carolina. I just drive and I cry. Big, fat, ugly, self-deprecating, I suck, I'm not good at this, what was I thinking? Tears.
Get it out.
And it seems so pitiful that my best of friends would be really shocked by it, but it's what I do. And then I get to the end of the crying, because eventually crying has to stop, right? I've got to go back to my world. And when I make that U-turn and I head back to home, the tears stop. And instead of telling myself all the things I cannot do, which is what I did all the way out, however long my journey is lasting that day, all the way back, I tell myself how many times I have batted 1,000. Because see, I bat 1,000 every day, and so do you, because you woke up this morning and you're still in business. So that means you hit a home run yesterday.
Yeah.
And if you wake up tomorrow, you hit a home run again. So all the way back, I tell myself, I may not be great at marketing. I may not know all the ins and outs of what marketing wants to hold. Hell, I cuss a lot, so I'm trying
No,
not
it's
to.
all right.
It's all right.
I'm really trying to like filter that because I cuss a
Let it
lot.
fly.
But
That makes it real. Authenticity.
sorry. But you know, but I have to say, you know, okay, I may not know that. But you know, it's really amazing who's going to pop into my path along the way on the things that I don't know. I mean, even Michelle, I mean, she posted out on some Facebook posts. I met Michelle, I want to say a dozen years ago,
It was a long time.
when she first started Beettan. She had just started it, and we were at a fashion event, and she was doing the tans for all the models. And I love powerful women. They really get me excited. I mean, I love my husband, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I love powerful women. I think they're just super awesome because they give an energy to me, and I really can soak that energy up, and I do. So I met Michelle, and so it was like a month or so ago. Follow her on Facebook, we're friends on Facebook, but I cannot say that we have interacted at all in the last probably dozen years. And she put a thing out the other month. She was looking for people on her podcast, and weirdly for me, I don't usually respond to things like that, but I did. And so the podcast was great, but what was even better than that, and no offense, is I met Missy, and her and I are launching a project that has been on my back burner for about 2 years. And so it's really interesting to me that when you're out here not knowing if you got it, and you're faking it till you make it, because we're all faking it till we make it,
Absolutely.
that in your path will come people that will make a difference. And that difference is what's going to get you over the obstacle of not knowing what you're doing today. Now, that was a really long question that nobody asked.
So in our company, we have a mantra. We say control the controllables. Like, we can't focus on those things that we have absolutely no control over. In 2020, when we had COVID hit, we had no way of controlling our clients who are in the salon world not being able to see clients anymore. And so the only thing we could control was helping them. We stopped making them pay for their services during the times that their salons were closed. We had one client in Toronto, and she wasn't allowed to open at all in 2020, so we didn't make her pay at all. So it's learning and understanding your community, figuring out what you're selling them, how you're meeting their needs, and how you're becoming a part of their lives. They're more than just a client at the end of the day. And then focusing on those things that you can control to keep you in that positive mindset, so that you say yes to things and not no. Because when you're not in that mindset and you're not open, then you're not going to say yes to going on a podcast and meeting someone and having these other opportunities where you run into people. When you go to a networking event, if you're not in the right mindset, you're not going to meet anyone. You're not going to say, you're not going to make those those relationships or that collaboration happen. I think
And look, I met Amy like more than 10 years ago, and where it doesn't always, not always like this.
It's
I know
not
I
fast.
preach that a lot
Yeah.
because I'm in the most impatient human on the planet. Ask anybody that works for me.
we started our company in 2017, and I remember going out and being like, yeah, this is gonna be huge, we're gonna
Yeah,
take over the world. Yeah, and we didn't hire our first full-time employee until the summer of 2019. Only then, to 6 months later, COVID happened, and then we're not. So we now have a team, there's 3 partners, and we have a full-time team with 8 employees, 6 that work here in Savannah, and then 2 that work remotely, 1 in Augusta, Georgia, and then 1 in Illinois. And we only have girls coding and building websites and Google partners. I have 1 male partner, and then we have all girls. So it's kind of crazy how that has worked out as well in an industry that's dominated by men typically. It's changing. We aren't, marketing, you think of a lot of girls, but in the back end, on the tech side, it's all one type of person, and it's very hard to infiltrate. So it's like, that idea that you kind of have to change your mindset. You have to realize things come so slow. So it's 2024 now, and this is when we're really stepping into our own as a company, and we're really seeing, major growth. And we recently partnered with L'Oreal in 2020. And that partnership has taken 4 years to come to fruition, where we're now a vendor with L'Oreal. And we're able to provide our services to 2 salons who are L'Oreal professionals. So if they're a Redken, or they're a Bumble and Bumble, or they're a specific type of salon, they earn points when they get that product. They can now redeem those points with L'Oreal and buy a website from us. And so building that, we thought when we got that deal, it's 2020, we're gonna make it. 4 years later, they finally got us in their system. So yes, it always takes longer than you think it will take. So it's like, what grit do you have to stay positive in that mindset, and realize you can only control so much, and a big part of that is your attitude, and what you wake up in the morning and do for yourself, and how you get through the day.
How many clients do you get that you approach to say no?
I mean, probably our close rate is, I think we're probably a 50% close rate.
How many clients do you have that call about your services and they want to know what you're doing, and then you can't close it? 100% of people who call you to do pans, do they keep going with you? Do they come once? Do they not come again? There's that. I mean, that can be kind of a mind trick in itself too.
Yeah.
Is that you think you've got this client base, and then it doesn't. So I call it mining. As an entrepreneur, I'm always remining for clients. I mean, I've got to have new people buying my products each and every month, either to offset the ones that don't buy my services the next month, or to continue to grow my services. And being told no or something like that can also be just really difficult mentally and emotionally, especially as women. Sometimes when we're told no as women, we take that kind of personally, like maybe I'm just not good enough, maybe they just didn't like me. And as women, we want to be liked, we want to be enough, and really if you're here, you've already proven that you're enough, you're more than enough, because I bet out of 1,000 people that would have this opportunity, y'all are the group that said yes to it. And I bet Michelle has a bunch of people on the backside that never said yes and never took the chance. And y'all did. So you're already winning out of the gate.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's hard.
It's hard to show up to an event like this and not know anybody. You kind of guys know each other and all, but to come, pat yourselves on the back. Like, I'm an introvert,
And
so
share
sitting
the
up here is
calories.
nervous for me.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. Thank you. But going to an event like this would make me like, oh, I don't want to go.
I love it.
So be proud of yourself. It takes a lot to put yourself out there.
It takes so much. I mean, and I don't know if you give yourself enough credit for what you do each and every day having a business.
How does the car ride help you, get rid of all the bad? I mean, I love that you told me that during the episode, because it is so easy, and I know my girls, I know that the Beettan girls feel this way. It is so easy to get bogged down with the difficult client. The day, I mean, Virginia had an armpit week, like this weird shit. She's the top. top two gal. So she, you know,
I go back to
she has-
basics.
Yeah.
Back to basics.
I mean, yes. I mean, it's a weird shift when I make the turn and I head home. I fill myself up with the mantras of all the things I can do. All the things, not only can I do, but all the things I have done. I have to remind myself often, you know, the ugly cry thing might happen like twice a year. So, I mean, that's not like a weekly thing. I mean, it might be twice a year. Like I said, it's why it freaks everybody out. Which is why I do it alone. But, I mean, I have to remind myself of a list of all the things I've already done. I don't have anything to prove to anybody because I've already proven it to them already. I've already done the work. And if you ask people who know me professionally or personally and you told them about the cry thing, they literally would be shocked. I run into people all the time. They're like, well, you're good at everything. And I'm like, and the lie remains. And I tell them, I said, well, would you like a list alphabetically or in line of the really bad stuff I really am really bad at first? I mean, which would you like? We can get my children involved and they will give you more insight on me than you've ever wanted to know. But the truth is, I'm not good at everything. I'm good at my bucket of tricks, and I'm really good at my bucket of tricks. I'm also very introverted.
No,
My husband would love me to be introverted. I'm not introverted. I spend 3 hours at the grocery store when I run into somebody that I didn't know, but we start a conversation.
that was my worst nightmare.
My husband called me. He texts me, he's like, have you died on the way to the grocery store? I'm like, no, but I was just at the deli counter and there was a lady.
Oh.
Conversation.
3 hours later, we've got cards and I've got a lunch set. And he's like, seriously, please quit going to the grocery store alone. Because I've never met anybody that I don't like to talk to. But the truth of the matter is I'm really good at what I'm really good at. But there's a whole list of things that I am not good at. And I can get about 80% through my task list of most of the things with my job. I was telling Missy that this morning. I have been working on a catalog for one of my businesses for 5 months now. And it's 80% done. But what's left is this nuanced piece that every piece of art I have has to have a SKU number and a description attached to it. And you are looking at my Dante's Inferno of hell to make me sit in front of my computer and add a model number. You would think that's super.
Amen.
Use AI.
Well, AI, AI will do all that fun stuff, but I actually in the catalog have to actually type out 003, 004, and anyway. You're just, if I don't go to heaven, these are the things the devil's going to make me do for the rest of my life. Is some repetitive task that is either making kitchen towels or having to fill out line items in a catalog. I also make kitchen towels, and that's what I do. So the other day I'm going away printing kitchen towels. We're busy with festival season. My design, love the art side, I love the design side, but shit, the stuff got to get made so that we can go to the festival and sell the crap that I make. And so I'm sitting there at the thing. I got 200 towels to make, and then there goes the printer, and out goes the printer, and then goes the printer, and out goes the printer. And my husband, who sits in my studio and helps me with all the other stuff, he sits. We have a big table down my studio, and he sits on that side, and I sit on this side. It keeps me from firing him and keeps him from divorcing me. We look at each other and yell at each other a few times in the day because he's like slow at different things, and I've got to sit here and do these kitchen towels, and I've got to sit there and go, focus, 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 1 towel, 10 towels, focus. I mean, that's literally a chant I have to tell myself because I'm like, if I go to hell, this is what I'm doing for all eternity. I'm feeding a kitchen towel, folding it, and removing a kitchen towel. That will be my eternal damnation. Because I hate repetitive tasks. I own a bakery. I own a macaron company. And when I first started the company, my best friend and I would sit and bake cookies every day together side by side. And man, she loves repetitive tasks like nobody I've ever met in my entire life. Now, I'm competitive. I mean, I am probably one of the most competitive people you will meet. So we're sitting there tray by tray, piping cookies. Well, she's piping like 10, I mean, tray after tray after like 10 in a square, 10 in a snail, 10 zigzag. I mean, my tray never looks the same. She's like, how do you do that? She's like, you don't have the same pattern. I'm like, because that 10 really wants to send me over the edge. And, but hell, if you're going to make more cookies than me in a day, so we got to still get the task done. So I'm zigzagging. I mean, my pattern is different every single tray, but hers is 10. And I love that about her. I love that she was going to get there every day, and since I wanted to win, I was going to get there every day too. Because I didn't want to be like, no. But see, as an entrepreneur, that's not what anybody's telling you. No one's taking your attendance, are they? You got to get up. You got to go make the appointments. What's that old? I'm going to really date myself now because I'm rather old. There was a commercial back when I was growing up, and it's like, time to make the donuts.
Yeah.
It was a Dunkin' commercial.
Yeah.
I think it made a revive a couple of years ago at the Super Bowl, so maybe I'm not as old, but now I remember when it first came out. So, time to make the donuts. And so you have to get up every morning. But as an entrepreneur, if no one's going, get up. It's not like your mom's sitting there poking you, or the job say clock in, clock in, clock in. You've got to go do it. And it's hard.
Yeah.
And so those are the obstacles that if you're not really great with time management, or you're not really great with that, that's why, I recommend you finding some kind of accountability partner. And I think, like I said, I think what y'all have is so fabulous because it keeps you logging in. It keeps you accountable for what's going on. It keeps you wanting to keep going when the last thing you really feel like doing is keeping going.
Yeah.
I talked enough.
If we ask 3 questions, we had a survey with all of our partners that couldn't make it. And so, do you don't mind if we ask y'all the 3 questions?
Ask away.
Videoing is so uncomfortable for me. How do I grow more comfortable and find ways to include videos that fit my branding and personality?
Practice. So like I would say sitting in front of your camera, awkwardly filming yourself over and over again and watching it back would be the best way to feel comfortable in front of the camera. To get around feeling uncomfortable in front of the camera or looking at yourself, there's also gimmicks you can use. You could use like a filter. I've seen girls use a mustache filter and only use the filter, or become the peach and only talk as the peach.
She was a man the other day.
Man up.
There's a lot. If you'd rather do voiceovers are really good. Just use your voice and film without putting your face on. But really, honestly, people really like authentic. I did a class with a bunch of real estate agents, and they asked the same question. They're like, we have to be on film. I don't want to do it. How do you recommend doing it? Get in your car. The lighting is always great in your car, and start just talking to your phone. People like authenticity, so I would say unedited photos or videos do better than anything else. At the end of the day, it's not, no one's judging you as much as you're judging yourself. No one sees those flaws except you. We all have body dysmorphia. We all have these weird things we see in the mirror, but no one else sees them. So just loving yourself a little more and practice. I think mine is practice. So like getting in front of a camera and then watching it back is the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, you should say something, Linda.
I saw a brilliant Instagram account. She tried growing her following by putting her face out there, but then all of a sudden she wasn't getting the following that she wanted, so she went faceless. I mean, she would show her body, but somehow, some way, her face was covered up, and her Instagram account grew because of what she was putting out there, the product that she was showing, and not just her face. And so I thought that was a brilliant marketing technique.
Yeah.
To do that, because she just didn't feel comfortable in front of the camera.
Yeah. I think if you have something to say that's really, that you can say better with the camera in front of your face to your followers, for instance, then do it that way. If you can text it out or you can type it out and it's going to make sense and it's going to get the message across, then do it that way. But always, spoken voice is going to have the best impact. And getting comfortable in front of the camera really is just over and over and over again practice.
What's the next question?
The next question,
Yeah.
okay. What are 3 ways to drive people to your booking system or your site, or your scheduling system or your site? I have had one person book for my booking site in my 3 months of business.
So that link to the booking website, put it in every social media platform you own. Put it on, if you ever Google My Business or it's a Google Business profile, put it there. You can attach all of your social media now to your Google Business profile, but you can also put in your booking link. So you can add a booking link there. If you really wanted to take it a next step, you can always run Google Ads. So you can run a Google ad directly to your booking link. I would say email blasts, send out an email with that link to people, and also there's like text messaging services, you can send out the link that way. Constant posts using that link, figuring out a way. We always tell people if you're gonna market, use like a 30, 60, 90 rule, or you wanna make sure that 30% of your marketing is entertaining, 30% of it is some other aspect of your business, so educational possibly. In your line, it's going to be education on your product, and then the other 30% is going to be sales. So you want to make sure you're not coming across too gimmicky. You want to mix it up as you're posting stuff, or if you're doing whatever platform you're choosing, just make sure that it's not all 100% sales. That way, people are receiving a little bit of education, a little bit of entertainment, and then boom, you're hitting them with book now, book with me. That's why I'm great.
And for Beettan, I think everyone here pretty much knows this, but we give you guys content to use for website, for social media, whether it's product. You also have a shop link. You can sell directly through our website, and you have a link for that too. Links are saved me. I had a wholesaler call me last night at 9:30. But she owns 4 stores in Florida, so I called her back. And I sent her the direct wholesale link. I lose my links all the time. I drop Danielle crazy. Where's the wholesale link? Where's that blah, blah, blah link? Where's this link? But I also trained to just right on that question. I have my booking link saved in my notes.
Yeah.
And when someone calls me and they want me to schedule their appointment, my fingers are skinny, but you would think they were ginormous because I can't text at all, and I sure will make a mistake in a booking system because I'm doing so many other things. So I'll book the client the wrong way. Well, here's why that's a problem. I'll miss putting their email in the booking system, and I want to say this in front of Erica and Amy because they'll back me up on this. You've got to get their data. I know you hate Target's emails, but that is how you grow. So I think I know that question was a me. 7 years ago.
Yeah.
I wasn't using my link. I wasn't texting it to my clients when they asked. I was doing everything for them. So then they don't have the link, so then they don't refer the link. It goes back to old school. We're texting. It's easier to share that link more now than ever. And then you have all their data. And then you have a community. We have Danielle who we can teach you on our pro site. We teach you, but if you're like me, you don't like to read. We'll teach you how to send off the emails. So those links are so important these days. If you want to stay old school, you don't have the old school clients, and you're going to stunt your growth. I know you guys are here because you want to make money. You invested, exactly.
You can add a link tree. Well, I think link trees are now on Instagram. You can have as many links as you want.
Yeah,
but you
listen to my podcast.
You
Look
can
at this.
have
Go through
tons
this.
of
Mine
links.
has all kinds of stuff on it.
Yeah.
Get credit for your spray tan.
And it also establishes how people are going to make an appointment with you. So you're setting up the framework for your business by having that portal as a way that they're going to make the appointment. If you start getting people text messaging you, I imagine we get it with salons, people DM, people text, they get phone calls, they get all these ways of getting an appointment, and nobody's coming through their booking system. Why not? Well, probably because you had the booking system after you had all those things in place, and these people are all used to being able to contact you that way. So you slowly got to go through and be like, hey, you sent me that message, that's great, but here's my booking link. Here's my booking link. Here's my booking link. And slowly, everybody will get back on board for like, oh, I don't text her. I need to.
I'm telling you. And then you send that email, and it's like, mine blows up after an email.
Yeah.
My clients like that reminder. She asked me if I do text marketing. I do when I'm slow. I pay the extra money for the text. Usually in busy season, email's enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
As a reminder, the text message works better with like a little, I don't know, a discount or something. On a slow week, I'll pay the money, which usually you're like, wait, you're slow. Why are you paying that? Because it pays for itself, and it works.
Mm-hmm.
You have a question?
Yeah. So along with the girl's question there, she hadn't she's only had one person come through the website. So I'm guessing she's not like loving talking, like going out and talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
how would she or any of us get our relevance higher on Google, like maybe using Google My Business?
Mhm.
I'm not super great with that
Okay.
by any means.
So,
Tell us more about
okay,
what
so Google Business is Google Business is the profile you get on Maps. It's what shows up on Maps. It shows up in several places across Google's products, but it's going to show up at the top essentially of organic search results when you guys go search. You know, someone searches in my world hair salon, Savannah, Georgia, and Google Business Profile is essentially free gold. You want to set yours up, get it verified, and then you want to manage it and optimize it. So your category is important, what category you're choosing, and then what subcategories. I know you're a makeup site or you're a makeup artist, so you might have several categories that you would be a part of. And then you want to go through and fill out every piece of that profile. I would say relevance is second in the algorithm on the maps. First is location, GPS location. So when someone is searching, unless they're like me and they're searching with a device that's masked and on purpose trying to trick the system, it's going to use their GPS location first. Then it's going to look for, okay, they searched hair salon Savannah, GA. They're located downtown Savannah, GA. They're going to look at all the hair salons and they're going to look at their reviews. And then they're going to say who has the highest review, and then who's most relevant. How often are they talked about across the web? How much? So they might have 300 reviews, be a 5-star salon, and then also they're mentioned over here in this article. They're a member of the Small Business Chamber. They recently did a sponsorship of a nonprofit organization, and they're listed over on this website because they were sponsoring that. There's a lot of opportunities to get link juice back to your website or back to your Google Business Profile by utilizing your business name, by utilizing your booking link, by utilizing your website link, all of the things that tie back to your website or your profile. Essentially, we do local SEO for websites. We're a Google partner, but you can do SEO for anything. You can SEO your Facebook profile, essentially. It just means optimizing it to show up.
Our booking system has a strong SEO.
Yeah, so you're just looking to make yourself more seen, and so the biggest piece of it is going to be reviews. How many reviews can you get? How strategic can you get about how consistent those reviews are coming in? So you want to kind of like set up a process to get reviews that are just consistently streaming in, and then you want to make sure that you're kind of staying on top of things. Right now, pictures are big. So if you can get a client to leave a picture, with their review, and then mention a specific service you guys are adding on. If you have any add-ons or new things you're doing, get a person to leave a review about that. That review is then that much more valuable. You can also like Reddit. Reddit's big right now. I would be searching your city's Reddit forum, and I would make sure that you're there. And if somebody's asking questions, I need a spray tan in Savannah, that you are there listed under there. People are going there. Reddit is huge. And Reddit ranks #1 typically on Google because they look at it as a forum that's managed by users, and they really like when something is managed by a bunch of users and it's not managed by a bunch of marketers.
Do you think it's helpful? And I honestly don't know this. We build websites with our second spray tan package for our spray tan partners. So everything that's like, they're like, what the hell is she talking about? That's why we started that, because we have Danielle who does that. Do you think that that's a benefit? I kind of feel
Absolutely.
like our girls get.
So I think if you have the opportunity to get a package with a link, with a website already involved, I would pick that over having to build your own or having to operate without a website.
I mean, these gals did it from scratch, right?
Yeah.
And they're our top They're our top 2 partners here, but their brains, they did it. It took me longer, and I went through how many websites? We got 3 people in here that helped me with websites while I was doing all that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted, because I know that Danielle does a kick-ass job. Do you think it's like cool that they're directly related to our blogs? We do a blog about them, and they're directly linked. So they're like a branch of our tree, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think so when you have a website like Michelle's and you have that many pages, the domain authority on that website is the opportunity is huge. So you're looking at somebody that's having a page on a franchise website. So that franchise then has the authority, and you're adding a new page on it. You're the new location. So you're kind of jumping in. If you start your own and you start from scratch, then you're building your own domain authority, and you're gonna start with zero and you're gonna grow from there. But then you have full control. So then you go on the back end, you have access, you make changes, you do all of the SEO or the edits, or I don't know if you guys have Shopify or Squarespace or WordPress. We build in WordPress, which is great for SEO, not great for user-friendly small businesses trying to go in on their own and make edits. But back to Google Business Profile, because it's free and it's not a website necessarily, but it is just as important as a website. I would say you can go in and always make sure you're managing your reviews. If you get a bad review, respond to it, no matter what, because we all go and look at bad reviews, and the first thing you want to see is how did the owner respond to that bad review. You know, it has nothing to do with responding to that person to fix that person. It has everything to do with responding so that when Amy comes and reads your bad review, she's like, oh, this owner, she's accountable, she takes care of her shit, she's making sure these people are good. That's
And
why
I
you
use
respond.
AI because I'm getting angry.
Utilize AI all day long.
And I have a different little spin on marketing. I love digital marketing, and digital marketing is great, and all the things that you're saying are absolutely true. But I've built $1 million businesses not understanding anything about digital marketing.
Sure, yeah.
Because at the end of the day, what people buy, they buy you.
Right.
And so how can you become authentic? How are you involved in your community? What are you doing in your community to give you the opportunity to be featured in some kind of editorial?
Yeah.
When I opened the macaron business, we went to this obscure Taste of Savannah thing.
Yeah.
And it was great because I felt like Cinderella for 4 hours because people said that magic flowed from my hand for these little cookies that I made. But I got introduced to a gentleman who then ended up writing about us in the Savannah Morning News, and I ended up selling out of cookies. We had to bring in somebody else. We were so crazily busy. I went to an event in Atlanta, again selling cookies. It was really a dog event. We didn't sell anything except for the other vendors that were at the event who weren't selling anything either, but they wanted a snack, so they bought cookies. However, so we were kicking ourselves. This is not a good event. We wasted all this money. We were brand new in business, so it was a really big expense for us to haul cookies up to Atlanta and get hotel rooms. It was an expense. But in comes on Sunday a lady from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. And she's just interviewing people around the spot, and because she's, the organizer was friends with her, and so here we go. Well, heck, 2 months later, my internet goes ding, ding. I mean, I wake up to my internet just losing its mind. And I'm like, what the hell happened? Because, I mean, I hadn't done anything. Well, she wrote about us. She picked us as her top 5 Mother's Day gifts for Georgia.
Oh, wow. See?
In an event that was a dog. But if we'd not been there, we wouldn't have done it. So, yes, I love all the digital piece, and the digital piece is really important. But I think when business owners get away from the fact that you're in business, and your business is you, not a you here that is not tangible, because as well as people can give you good reviews, you're not tangible. It's not personal to them. They can give you bad. They can't connect with the digital persona.
I will say that that's where I was weak in the digital world and silly and just made so many mistakes. I was strong in my community. I showed up. She used to invite me to, what was that damn thing that was 8 o'clock in the morning? I bartended. I was like, wow, I go into this. I bartended all night the night before. But I always connected with people. I connected with Amy. That's so true. You can go and not spray tan one person. I always show up with bells on with my tent. And no one might step in my tent, no one might not buy a lotion, but I have conversations and it spreads. So just know that what she's saying is true. I think she has questions.
So I have a question. I'm thinking 5 years out. I'm a massage therapist that I want to start transitioning into this business. When people are authentically, they're buying me as a massage therapist and I have to offer, how do I translate that or transfer that to become an employee? How do you keep that, not necessarily yourself, but just in general, how do you transfer that into your brand and who you are showing up for? How do you find people to...
So you have to scale eventually, because you can only have, you get 24 hours in a day like I do, right? So, I mean, how many spray tans can you do by yourself? Because you're not working 24 hours, you got to sleep. So, I mean, you cap out you limit yourself to how much you can personally do, because you don't get any more time. I've tried many ways to add an extra few hours to my day. It has not worked yet. However, as a brand, you create a brand ethos. And so when people buy the brand, they buy the training and the lifeblood that you put into your brand. And so you end up being able to scale that way. You're authentic, but you might want to say, you know, that I went through this training process. They're going through the same meticulous training process that I went through. I'm very hands-on with my tanners. I don't know what y'all call you. Partners. For your employees.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm very hands-on with that. We make sure the quality is the utmost. If something is not to your liking, I am always available. At the end of the day, no matter how big a team you build, the buck will always stop back with you. You will always have to take responsibility for an experience that you may not have incurred that was bad, but you still have to make accountability for that experience. The first two that you do are going to be the hardest that you do, because you're going to find along the way the things that you did great, and you're going to find along the way the things you didn't do well. Make notes of the things you didn't do well, stop that pattern, and then just chalk it up. The first two will probably not stay with you forever. You'll end up revamping your crew over and over again, because employees aren't indentured servants. They don't get to stay with you or have to stay with you forever. Figure out what went really well with that experience, and then make the adjustments of what didn't go well. Learn about yourself, but building a brand and a clientele based on who you are, as long as you remain authentic, and as long as you remain the person who will take accountability for what goes on right and wrong with your brand. And then when it goes really right, share that glory with the person who made it go right.
Right.
Don't, we all do better when we shine on others. It's not about us.
Thank you.
We established core values. I know we went through the EOS entrepreneurial operating systems back in our previous life when we worked in healthcare, and they talk about like defining who you are, but define your core values, then write them down, write your mission, your vision, and as you bring people on, you match them to that set of core values and that mission and that vision. And as you bring them on, you show them those so that they know what they're getting involved in, and you hire people with that core that you can train. That's what we do. We hire people based on a core set of values. It doesn't matter if they know nothing about WordPress. I know when we meet them, are they open? Are they resourceful? Are they fun? Are they dependable? Do they have an ownership mentality? These things are like so core to who we are as a business that it doesn't matter that they don't come from a marketing background or a coding background. None of that matters. That's stuff that calls on us to train them. But are they open? Do they have a fun mindset? Are they resourceful? Those sorts of things.
So I'm going the opposite direction. I try to simplify it. But I've had over 1,000 employees in my entire life. Being in the last few months so Ashley was my spray tanner, and I never wanted to compete with her by any means. But she did post that she wanted more partners in the area, so I was like, all right, if you're serious. In my opinion, and this industry, if you're gonna everything that you guys said is 100% accurate, but if you're trying to find the right person instead of posting it on Indeed, find somebody that you spray that loves Beettan, that either wants a side gig, or doesn't matter what their age is, or find a teenager.
Yes.
Some of those teenagers.
I have coached from
excellent.
PetSmart. PetSmart has the best customer service training. I am not joking.
They are good.
Go to PetSmart. Those people, like a really good PetSmart employee, I've hired a lot from PetSmart.
But also, there's
No, that's so true, 'cause they already in love with the product and the brand.
Yeah, for
and there's
sure.
people who do not want to run their own business. They want
Absolutely.
to get orders from someone else.
Yes.
But they want
Not
their
everybody
own.
wants
so
this
even if
life.
you have to be very clear with them. If they mess up just a little bit, they want to please you. If they want to be an employee, they want to please you. Find a nice way to just tell them, hey, you know what I find that makes it better? Why don't you try it this way? If you are gentle with the new teenagers and their whole mindset, they will please you till the cows come home. They want to do what's best, and they want to have a great reputation. It's just different from when I was a teenager, the way the reputations are built. And if they get a negative, they don't want negativity. So if they get that back online or something, it will rush them down.
Yeah.
Right.
Let go
Whereas
of
we might be more
control. I
Right.
let go of control.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Still learning how to do it. But what I've learned from having different employees, and now I just share the area like Ashley does. I don't want employees. I just only employees I want are the ones I have. As far as spraying goes, Morgan's been wonderful. But I just sell more partners in the area. It has not hurt me. Everybody knows 100 people. Somebody else doesn't know. That took me years to understand. So find what works better for you. I can't do the employees. I hold on to people. Everyone who's left Beettan has come back. I am emotionally attached to anyone that is connected with Beettan. So having them as partners and own their own business is a better structure for me and my mindset. But we have people who have employees that do really, really well. They own salons. They have people working with them. But yes, I agree with that. When they love the brand, when they love the product, they push it, and they know 100. No matter whether you're selling a partnership and getting the referral fee from us that we, pay when you refer someone, or you're bringing someone in, you can also share the, and I know some of you know this, but you can also share your login for training them. That's your login. If you want to share yours, and then if they do something that is untrustworthy, you can change that password. But because they can't get Beettan, only you can get Beettan. So I guess what I'm saying is like whatever structure works best for you. I do like that a lot. That they already are in love with the brand.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing.
It helps. I mean that's
That's why we're all here anyways.
Referral.
That's how we all started.
We are here because
That's why
most
we're all
of you
here.
are referrals. I'd say like 20, less than 20%.
Just throw those numbers out there. That's fine.
We did get a girl from Canada this week with Google. We're having trouble accepting her payment, but she Googled spray tan and we came up in Canada.
Oh,
Wow. So Beettan is growing online, so being connected, just know like the brand is growing and it's trusted. It's very trusted, which I love that. But a lot of our stuff is referral based because someone tried Beettan and they won't use anything else. So she's so right on that. Like that's half the battle is getting the person to love what they do.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Along those lines, so I'm getting to a point where I'm going to have to hire an employee probably next year. And I've hired someone to help me before, and I guess I'm wondering, in this industry, so there's, we can't have complete control over everything, but I would really like an employee who loves the brand, like, is going to stick around, and obviously I want to create an environment that makes them want to stick around. I don't want to have to keep getting a new employee every year, because once that employee knows what to do, they see how, not easy, but they see how anyone can start their own spray tan business, and they're just like, I'm just going to go. Because that's hard for my clients.
I think every business owner worries about that. I worry that about my employees. Like, once they see the inner workings of this business, they could go out and, but you know what, at the end of the day, I don't think that they want, like, not everybody wants to start their own business.
Yeah. But, you're kind of treading along non-competes, and non-competes just got made illegal.
Right.
So you can't enforce that. And at the end of the day, it's entrepreneurship. If you want to be an entrepreneur, it is a mindset. And when you do it well, people think it's easy.
Yep.
So when you do it well, they're like, well, that's as easy as it can be.
Yeah.
And it's not. So there's so many more facets of being an entrepreneur. So a lot of times somebody will go, well, I can do it as well as she can. And maybe they can. Maybe they have that DNA. But it's an internal thing, being an entrepreneur. It's not anything that you can kind of pluck off a tree and just do. You have this in you. So sometimes people think it seems easy, but see, they usually come along your business several years down the path. They haven't usually, because we don't usually hire an employee when we're out there scraping for clients, because we're trying to get every client we can to pay our bills, right? I mean, so we're not hiring people out of the gate because every client we get is paying our bills. So we don't really have the funds to. So when you finally get big enough to hire an employee, the gravel, yucky kind of work has kind of been polished off. So they come on seeing more of a Camry than the jalopy you were driving when you were starting.
Yeah.
And that's a misconception for that person, because they didn't see how hard you worked. And so, but we don't hire employees when we're in the hard part, because we can't afford employees while we're in the hard part. So we don't get employees until we get enough clients to be able to afford, and then we want to scale. And so you can do all you can. to create a great environment, to create, you know, everything that you've done perfectly. And except for Michelle, everybody else will probably at one point in time leave you. I mean, my baker's been with me for 10 years.
Yeah.
She works for me, her mother works for me, and her daughter works for me. So if it all goes downhill, she's slashing my tires for sure, and she's taking her whole damn family with her.
Michelle, you hear that?
Yes.
Speak.
Well, my baker's pretty hardcore, so she really will slash my tires. It's gonna happen. Every once in a while, she brings a Glock to work. I try not to know. She's hardcore. I mean, if I ever like in a knife fight, she's gonna have my back.
Yeah.
I hope, if I haven't pissed her off too badly. I gotta stay out of her way. But
It's
you know,
gonna happen. People
it's
are-
going to happen.
It's just gonna happen.
And it's going to happen, and when it happens the first time and the second time, it's rather soul crushing. Because you take it personally,
Yeah.
especially when it's your first employee or your second. You go to drinks after work, you become friends, and that makes it really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had more employees than I can count, so my employees don't get that close to me. It just keeps it easier for me, because I've just had a bunch of employees over my career. But yeah, it's going to happen. And it's going to soul crush you, and it's going to make you question everything you've done, but it's going to happen. You don't get to control that, and what Michelle was saying, you don't get to control. And so you just have to do the best you can with what you
I
have.
do yoga and therapy.
We noticed, like the salon industry or the beauty industry, you know, graduating with a cosmetology license. In 2020, or right before 2020, Sola Salon, Sola Suites got really, really big. Then 2020 hit. They really marketed to that, to the end, to the cosmetologist, start your own business, start your own business. There was a mass exodus from salons. I know a lot of salon owners who had walkouts, who had, you know, because everybody's like, I'll just go start my own salon. I'll just go do my own thing. But you can think on the back end of that, 4 years later now, you're seeing a mass entrance back into the salon. So you're going to go through waves of that in the industry, because you guys are in a specific industry where you're told at the beginning, start your own business, start your own business, start your own business, because the license that in the beauty industry you get, that's how they graduate and that's how things happen. If you went that route, I don't know if everybody in here has a cosmetology.
You had your hand up a long
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
I just wanted to say what she was talking about. I have a salon, and I opened in 2016, and I had a lot of people that worked under me, and they started trickling away to go in their own place, and it frustrated me a little bit. But I learned that when I interview now, I ask, what is your 5-year plan?
Yeah.
You know, like
That's
what do you wanna
important.
do? And typically
And you can know ahead of time.
They're gonna tell you exactly what they wanna do. Like Trish, she came in, she wanted a job, I said, what's your 5-year plan? She said, I wanna do my own thing. So now I'm bringing her here, you know, to mentor her, you've gotta.
Right, then you can build out your different service lines. Then you know who you have
It's
as
just
like
that it's also
partners.
that you're here with her and you're supporting her.
Right, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So there's good ways to.
Right, there's good ways to bring up those people who you think might leave you to start their
I'm
own.
getting you. I'm gonna go to her. She's been patient too.
Sorry,
I was just
I'm
gonna say,
sweating.
I had a different employees too, and I
Wow.
great. Well, I had a good many employees, and I had a clothing store, and a spray tan business, and a house, and all sorts of things. But what I wanted to say is bringing them in
Turn
for
the music up.
I also get a little royalty for, you know, a bonus after 6 months. You
Put a
know,
light on
we've
fire
got this
up
amount
here.
of volume, and am I talking louder? Louder! Oh gosh! If we've done this amount of volume, we're gonna have an incentive. You're gonna get this amount. You know, collaborate more with the people that you bring on board
Yeah,
to your team.
100%.
And therefore, they feel like they're bringing something to the table, and they're also getting something else in return. And that's how you keep long-term employees.
Incentive.
Yeah, I used to
Incentivize
pay
it
more
all.
for clients that employees, I don't, like I said, I don't work with employees anymore. But when I did, a beautiful, wonderful person named Lexi, she left in 2020 because of COVID, and she never came back. She became a nanny. But for every client she brought on, I paid her more for that tan. plus
She
her
just had her last day nannying, in case you want to reach out to her and bring her back. She just had her last day.
She's awesome.
We had back over. Yeah.
Oh, it's kind of the same thing. Being in the massage industry, there's a reason that there's Hands and Stones and massage envies, where massage therapists are completely fine making $16 an hour. Where they could be making $100 an hour, and it's because they don't want the overhead, they don't want the responsibility, there's a lot they don't want to take on. So I think with the employee thing, yeah, they might leave, they might take some of your place, they're not, or your customers, but they're not gonna last. if that's not what they, you know, if they're not truly an entrepreneur. And if they're coming to you not wanting to be a partner, then they're probably not that mindset anyways.
Yeah.
It's more just like, I don't want to go through the work.
It's so
A
hard.
lot of people don't
And
want
get my clients comfortable with them, and they're gonna, you know, I'm like,
It is the
That first
double-edged
employee
sword
is
of
like
having
that.
employees. And so you have to look at leveraging.
It's so hard.
Yeah, one more. But you have to, you have to look at the leverage of what that means to your business. And so you have to look on paper, does bringing employees scale you to a point income-wise that you're okay with the risk and the work of?
Everyone needs to know
And
who
if
you
it's
work
not,
for too.
then that'll help you with your decision. But it's really, you know, you only can do so many spray cans in a day.
This is
So-
every business.
and it's not spray
This
tan. I mean,
isn't
it's
just
it's baking. It's every business.
Yeah.
It's the widget that it's how you produce more widgets in a 24-hour
I had to
day
point it out.
to increase your sales. You only have two choices. You can either increase your price to increase your revenue, or you can increase your appointments to increase. So, but you have to decide where that is, and that is one of those entrepreneurial decisions that only you can, unfortunately or fortunately, make. However you look at it, that you look at where that line sits for you, and then you weigh those pros and cons for you. Because for me, I'll just hire another person, and we're just back off to the races. It's just part of, I've done this enough, and that's just what it is. Doesn't hurt my feelings. I move on. I have trained somebody. I have trained somebody. But if it's something that is intrinsic to you and your productivity of being successful in your business, then you have to weigh where that weighs in for you, and that's the only decision you can make.
Thank you.
Go ahead and start writing out your standard operating procedures. Go ahead and start doing that. But you guys have a
I'll
huge
have to hire a
resource in the
consultant.
room.
Let's do two more questions.
Kelly-
We gotta make hats eventually.
Kelly is here, and Kelly's HR director this is Kelly, one of y'all's partners. She's HR director at Focus Lab, a major marketing company in the United States. And she is a huge resource for HR, hiring, all things. I would say she would be our little expert. And you guys are also EOS, are you not? Or are you?
Yeah, we do.
You do EOS? Oh yeah. Okay. So
if you ever
same.
heard about EOS, it's a standard, you know, it's an operating system.
To build your business on.
Oh,
Yep.
it's fantastic.
Yep. We use it as
If you
well.
want to talk about it, hit me up after. I'm happy to do
Yeah, and
that.
she's on the pro site. She's active. She's on certified. She's a Beettan babe.
Yeah.
I'm not supposed to call it that
I
anymore.
love doing it.
She's a partner.
We did not know this.
Y'all win.
What I would say is that I've been doing HR for about 10 years. And I hire, you know, I do all of that. Everything everyone has said. It's fantastic advice. One of the things I would say as bringing on somebody, like she mentioned core values, find core values, hire by them. One of the things we hire, like there's a book called, oh gosh, I can't even remember off the top of my head, I'll let you know, but the 3 values, there's 3 core things we hire off of. Humble, hungry, and smart. Are they humble? Are they hungry for the word? And are they people smart? That'll get you very far, even before I feel like you even have like your core values defined. You don't have those yet. What I would say is just, and I'm happy to talk more about this, but like your benefits, your total rewards, like your culture, what it's like to work with you, but creating that relationship with your teammates that you hire, that open, honest, is gonna go big. Like having one-on-one, like special like times where you can connect with them.
Need it, yeah.
And
Defined.
having it be where they can be honest with you about their growth. Because one of the biggest things, like, so I go on Glassdoor, I check out our reviews from like past employees, and like those are things like I'm trying to focus on while I'm inside the company, and like compensation, like knowledge. But one of the bigger things we're working on right now is like career growth. A lot of, I think, younger. I mean,
Ours too.
everybody.
Personal and professional development. Like, what are we doing personally for them, and
Yes.
how are we helping
I
them?
think the hardest thing to understand is that your people are always going to leave you. Like they're hungry to do that. They might not go do their own business, but they're going to grow to
And being
a point.
okay with that.
But you can help them grow. They'll stay with you longer as you are helping them grow. And they're also going to be your best resource for like new employer referrals as well. They're going to, especially those like you learn to like trust and are like valuing the same things that you are. I think using like, I think there's a lot of sentiment there. But
Love your
Yeah. So when we started our business, we moved onto the hall that the marketing firm that she works at is on. They're like the big guys. And when we moved, I remember looking at Focus Lab and being like, oh, one day we'll be like those guys. We've never caught up to you guys yet, but
Your own brand of wonderful.
you guys.
The only thing I want to add to that is, Lisa's a small business. What's intimidating to me is hearing compensation packages and benefit packages, and I'm not a big business. And there's no room for growth because there's me as the owner and them as the employee. So there's no middle stage when you're a small business. And so, again, you're still out there trying to attract talent to work for you. But when you come from a big corporate industry, which has multi-tiers, multi-packages, and multi-things like that, and you're a small little one-person operation, those two things are really hard to connect. So what I'm saying is a one-person operation and you're building something from nothing, which is what I've done over and over again, is you have to make what you offer a value of what they want. Some people want, I will tell you, you try to go get health insurance as a package for your employee, you've got to have 3 employees, all 3 of them have to participate for you to even get into any kind of corporate health matching for insurance.
Mary, you have a question?
Didn't want to talk. So to answer you, to speak on what you're saying, I have trained a lot of yoga teachers for my studio, and it used to really overwhelm me the thought of them being the favorite, or people going to their class instead of mine. And it's like, what if they leave, things like that. But the freedom I've gotten and people loving my other instructors as much or more than me has changed my life. And I also feel like every time I hear that, or someone's like, no, I go to Sarah's, or I go to this, I'm like, I did my job.
Right.
And that's a huge compliment to me on the other side, rather than trying to keep it all to myself. So at the same time with that, I am huge on
Yeah, that'd be great. That's why I want an employee. I want them to get booked.
It's hard.
She just doesn't like
it is hard. It's
I
hard.
don't want them to leave. I want them to have appointments. I just don't want them to do their own thing elsewhere.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Not like a year, like in like 5 years. They're with me for 5 years and then they go like, I will be like, woo! But like, don't let me train you for 6 months and then be like, see you.
well, and
But the girl that did that did not
here
make
that
it.
happens all the
Because I don't
time.
think she
Everyone
would take
thinks
on the
they
weight
can
of what
open a
came
yoga
with it.
studio.
Yes.
It's the mentality that everybody thinks they can do what you're doing. They haven't seen the work. I mean, I've known Mary for
Especially if
years
you're graceful and you're making it
and
look
she
good.
was just starting her
People will be like, oh,
yoga
she's
studio
good.
when I
She
met
knows what she's
her.
doing.
And I mean,
Meanwhile,
all the hard
I'm
work and
sweating.
all the different things she's done to get the place that she's at. I mean, again, sorry.
Yeah, one more, and then I have something to say, and then let's do hats. But we're all gonna sit around, make the hats, and continue this. So
Yeah, and I got business cards. If anybody has
Yeah.
questions, I'm happy to answer things. So you have random questions that you want to email me about. Don't feel free. I don't mind at all.
I didn't really have a question. I just, you can run your business however you want. I've had employees before, and I've recently shifted my business into helping Beettan out a little bit more by offering a space for other people to spray tan.
Other Beettaners.
Smart,
So,
yeah.
first time to ever do this ever happen.
I don't have employees, but I do have people that help me pay my rent. They spray tan out of my studio, and they have their own business. And not only does it bring more visual attention to them because they're spray tanning out of a brand that I've built really for 5 years. It's also, it's bringing more vision to them, and then people see like, oh, there's more than one person in this small town spray tanning Beettan, and they're being successful, and they're supporting each other, and there's no competition. Everyone, your vibe's gonna attract your tribe. I'm not for everyone, Brandy's not for everyone, but we do work together, and like I said, she's not my employee, but she does spray tan out of my space, and just know that this is a very fluid business. And you can run your business however you want to do it.
Yeah, it's very
And you
fast.
don't have to have employees to make it work. You can actually bring in a team and empower other women and have them start their business at the same
And their
time.
responsibility is, woo!
And I feel like
Yeah.
since Brandy has been spray tanning out of my business, like people are like, oh, that's really cool that you do that. I've gotten busier.
Right.
And so I think it's just something that you can look outside the box a little bit. If you are busier, maybe you can empower another woman to start her business and you can collaborate together. And
Right.
in my experience now, like I feel like it's just made my business more successful.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you so much. I mean, podcast that really touched my life and me in whatever way, whether it's emotional or business, whatever it is. That's why I love the podcast. The podcast is not me trying to be some influencer or whatever. It's to get women's voices like these on there so that I can share it with you, because I don't have all the answers, and I do. I'm a networker. I hate even calling it that. I love women. I'm still working on the man part. I love these women. We already have some stuff, but I did write something because I'm emotional, so I'll probably cry. But I did want, this is to everyone here. It's an honor to have all of you here. I'm honored to have you.
Deep breath.
We're reflecting on a journey that began with a young girl, a spray tan machine, and a dream. I started spray tanning really young, and trust me, I made every mistake possible. But I fell in love with spray tanning because it made me feel better, and more importantly, it made my little sister feel better after she had those skin cancer scares. Back then, I had no idea what I was doing. Honestly, no one does in the beginning. In today's world, social media often clouds our perception of reality. It's easy to believe that success happens overnight, but the truth is every single business owner faces struggles, many of which are strikingly similar. We saw it today. We all start from different places, different backgrounds, financially, emotionally, and all these factors influence our mindset when we embark on our entrepreneurial journey. But here you are in this room because you started something for yourself. You took a great first step. I don't have anything special that you guys don't have. I don't. You took a great first step. I don't think so much. I want you to know that I'm simply sharing my journey with you in hopes that you might avoid some of the mistakes that I did make. But guess what? You're expected to make some mistakes because that's a part of this journey. It's a learning process and the growth that comes with it. What I love about this business is how we make others feel good. There's something magical that happens when we help people feel better in their own skin. Whether it's a woman who just needs confidence, a confidence boost, a bride preparing for a new day, a graduate wanting to look her best, our 15 minutes with them creates a bond unlike any other service. I've been in this industry for over 20 years, and Beettan has been in my life for more than a decade. And guess what? I'm still learning every single day. I still have rough days where I wonder if I even know what I'm doing. Yet every single situation, every challenge you find it, sometimes something beautiful always emerges on the other end. It always does, even if you can't see it. Thank you for being a part of this incredible journey. Here's to many more years of making people feel beautiful and empowering women, one tan at a time. Yeah. That was so good. It lasted way longer, and I'm so happy it did.